good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of the Reading FC podcast. Today we are doing something a little bit different, and we're going to try something, see what you got, your guys' reaction to what we're trying to do. So we want to try a bit more different, be a bit different with how we do things. But before we get into what we're going to be trying to do, what I want to say is a massive shout out to everyone that's been able to watch our videos this week. The live stream we did Monday, with everyone that was able to come aboard and watched it back. It's been a massive success on our side. So we're thinking of maybe doing a bit more live streams moving forward to get your guys' interaction. It's a lot more fun as well. We can get your guys' questions in, get what you're thinking, and it's just not just us rambling on for the majority of the time. You guys can ask questions as well. We didn't do any podcasts on Tuesday just by the fact of Brodie Lee, former Luke Harper, passed away, and we decided not to do anything out of respect, but we will be back Tuesday to do a little tribute to him and a build up to NXT's first pay-per-view and the first predictions of the podcast as well. Wednesday, we did the Formula One 2020 awards with Josh and Connor. The first time we've done, Connor's been on the podcast. It's gained a lot of views, a lot of traction on that as well, so please go and check that out. And we're building up to the 2021 season starting next week, and we're going to go with all the latest news, and we'll be talking most of the time probably about the knighthood that has been getting handed out last night. So we were going to touch on that as well. If you haven't seen who it is, go and check it out. We're not going to spoil anything here at the moment. And then Thursday, we did quite a long episode of the NFL. There was a big debate about going on to the last week of the regular season, building up to this Sunday, which is the last regular game of the season, going into the playoffs. Miami have to win, looking like they won't to get into it. And we've got loads and loads of repercussions. But we also have a very special guest coming to the NFL podcast next week. We're also in talks to do something a little bit different next week on the podcast as well to try and build up to the playoffs. But we're just going to work out what we can do logistics-wise for that. But today we are going to be talking about the latest news, the Swansea game, some quotes, Huddersfield, and the last thing we're going to discuss about today, and Ryan came up with an excellent idea last night after the game, is who is the best player in 2020? Not this season. It's the whole of since the January the 1st, 2020 to today. Who has been Reading's best player? We've got a list of names that we asked you guys on Twitter. We've got a list of names of people on here that we think that might be on the list. And then at the end of this episode today, we are going to pick who we think is the best player of 2020. But let's get into it. How are you both? Did you both have a good Christmas? And welcome. Happy New Year. New Year's Day 2021, first podcast. You've got two today, actually. You've got the New Year's Day special, the pub quiz that will be coming out today. Don't look at it. It comes out tomorrow. Ryan, don't fucking break the fourth wall. We will be... Today, you've got two podcasts. You've got the Reading FC one, and we've got the pub quiz, the end of year. Welcome to 2021 podcast. Happy New Year. How was your New Year's? Did you have a good New Year?
Oh, yeah, great. Well done, Mark. Well done. Good effort there.
Ryan, go with it.
No, my New Year's was awful. I was in bed by 10 o'clock.
There you go, see. Always one. Right, let's get into the latest news, shall we? The first breaking or / latest news that's coming from Italy. AC Milan technical director Paolo Maldini wants to sign Olise for the club, then loan him out to a Serie B side to integrate him into Italian lifestyle and Italian style of play. It's talking about the clubs that he could be loaned to Monza, Spal, Leek, and Chievo Verona. Are also all have said that if they do sign Olise, they want him to come to the club. I've been reading more and more about this, and more if we're going to lose Olise to someone, I more and more want it to happen to AC Milan. What are your guys' take on that?
I mean, it seems like they've got a plan for him at least. So at least we can still see him develop and stuff. So I mean, at least it's better than him just going somewhere and sitting on the bench. So I mean, how much I don't like Danny Loader. I didn't want him to just go somewhere and go to like Wolves and sit on the bench and rot and waste his potential.
I think one of the things that I find fascinating with Italian football is that there is always a plan B for every player.
Yeah.
There's always that option to we'll buy you in, but I think it's very clever as well what the Italian clubs do, where they loan them to a lower club just to get used to life of what Italian football is. Like if you look at Olise at the moment, he could probably get into the AC Milan squad, but he would struggle as well because they actually this year have done quite well.
Yeah,
And it'd be quite nice as well, I think.
They're top of the league, I think.
Yeah, I think they are at the moment. It'd be quite nice as well, maybe Ibrahimovic to get an extra year and at least work around, maybe get some experience with one of the best strikers, I think, in the world.
Yeah, well, to be fair, if he goes to Monza, he'll be playing with another fairly well-known striker. He'll be playing with Balotelli.
Oh yeah, he's just gone there, isn't he?
He's gone to Monza anyway, yeah. So
that could
imagine a pairing of Olise and Balotelli.
Do you know what? That was something I would have at Reading, just for the entertainment factor.
Yeah, but the amount of wages to pay him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you need to put fireplace at his house in case the fireworks go off.
Yeah, the amount that you have to pay more insurance than you do have to pay his wages and stuff.
Ryan, what are you thinking about Olise potentially could be going to AC Milan? It's just rumours at the moment. We know that he's Redding and Paunovic have said that they want to give him and Richards a new deal. It also was discussed last night on Sky Sport. Somehow they know that there is there is a release clause, but we also know that Sky Sport sources are always wrong because Steve Parish has come out and said we haven't done anything. So what are you making of it? This Olise saga is going to go on for a while. I'm expecting this to go on throughout the whole of January until either he signs a new deal or he's sold. What would you, AC Milan? Do you think that would be a good fit for a player like Olise?
Yeah, definitely. I think he'd be much better going abroad. Mm-hmm. As well, give it till next season. I think he could be pushing to get in their team for one. However, if he was to go to a big English club, chances are he'd probably never play for them.
Yeah.
I think the best. Yeah. I mean, at all. Look at Michael Hector. I think it will be an exact replica of what happened to him. Sign for someone and never play a first team game.
Yeah, where did he went? Chelsea, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to Chelsea and then went somewhere else, and then he moved permanently to Fulham, but couldn't play for them until January.
Wednesday.
Yeah. It was Chelsea, Sheffield Wednesday, Hull, Fulham.
But those were all loans, weren't they? Like Frankfurt.
Yeah. Apart from Fulham, yeah.
Yeah, but we loaned because I remember his deadline day, and we sold him for like £4 million and loaned him back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm always a believer, and this has become because of recently, maybe the Sancho effect and maybe the Lookman effect has really taken over. But if you're a youngster, the Championship is a good league maybe to get into and maybe hone your craft. But for me, the German, the French, the Italian league,
I think the best place he could go.
Exactly, abroad is so much better because if you're in the Serie A, you're going to be playing and you're going to be playing regularly and you're going to learn how to play first team football.
I think they have more subs as well, so you're more likely to be in and around the squad.
Like 9, I think.
They have like 12. They have like 12 subs.
12?
I think so, something like that. So you're always going to be in and around the matchday squad if you're registered to play.
So let's move on from Olise at the moment, and let's talk about West Ham. According to some sources, they are saying West Ham is tracking and looking at Lucas Joao for a potential move in January. Josh, I'm going to go to you first. Would you sell Lucas Joao if West Ham come in?
For enough money, but I think.
Okay, how much money would be enough to sell him?
At this point in the season, him coming back fit and being our top scorer, 20 plus, just because I think you need to push the boat. You have to ask for more than you want sometimes just to try and see if you can get him to pay it.
Would you sell him, Ryan?
No.
Okay.
I don't feel like
we've had this discussion.
I don't think I need to explain myself, but I'm going to. When you're pushing for playoffs or even automatic promotion, you don't sell your best players no matter what.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate.
I'm going to say as well, these last few games, specifically the Norwich game, the game last night, I think that's proved that we will be up there at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Norwich, we were missing, 5-6 first-team players, and we held our own. Yeah. We were unlucky not to get anything from that game. Brentford, you could be a bit of a write-off, but the same principle. Again, I think it's a completely different game. You have them 6 players that we were missing. Swansea last night, you put Joao, Mate, Moore, Richards back into that team. Even I think Yedom to an extent. Yeah. But you put them back in that team, we would have won last night.
Okay, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here about Lucas Joao. And I'm going to flip what you said. And I agree, selling the best players is not the way to do a playoff. But his injuries are still taking the toll again this season. Yes, he's top scorer. I agree. And yes, he is the main one that we need up front. But doesn't it get to a point where if someone comes in and maybe gives us the money, the 7 million or the 4 million that we paid, was it the 4 that we paid for? If someone come in, maybe gave us 7-8 million, I'm not going 20, because 20 will be, you're not going to get 20 million for a player with a knee history that what Joao's got.
But sometimes, I think all players have a price, but I think certain players' form can entail how much that price dictates sometimes. And a player in his form, for when he plays, he scores basically every time he plays.
But isn't it the point of you're paying for a player to play 38 games a season, not hoping he gets... I'm talking 38, I'm talking Premier League, I'm not talking Championship. Yeah. So 38 games, you're paying for a player that's going to potentially play 38 games. You're not paying for a player that could potentially only do 15 or 20. You're paying for a full season, not half a season. And West Ham have injury issues already with Antonio. Haller isn't doing what he's bought the money to come in for. They could do a swap. I'm happy with that.
Mark, I'm just going to say, so you say doing it over a full season. For Reading now, Lucas Joao has played 34 games. He scored 17. That's showing throughout a season. That's a goal every 2 games.
No. That's saying it throughout if he does, but he's not. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Is I understand that if he gets the opportunity to play a full season, he could potentially be one of the best forwards that Reading have ever had. And yet, I completely agree with you. This is the opportunity. This is the season that he should be doing it. But he's still again and again. There's always an injury that keeps him out for a few weeks or a month or whatever it is. He still is getting injured. He is an important player, yes, this season, and I completely agree. Would I sell him? Depending on the price we get.
I think the problem is we rush him back, and it's not really anyone's fault. We don't really have any other options.
If we had Puskas fit or someone like that who's good enough for a championship level where he'll score 1 every 2 or 3 games and would stay fit consistently. If our Bulldog would score, then I think we wouldn't have to. But it's the fact that if we don't have Joao, or we don't have Mate, or one of these creative players up front who's a bit more bullyish, we don't really have much going forward. Because I think we need that sort of bullyish player to help us win aerial duels.
I don't know if I said it to you at the end of last season or not, Mark, but obviously we all know sort of from the end of January, Puskas was playing injured.
Yeah.
And I said at the time, I'd rather just leave him out, let him go and get the surgery, let him have a full pre-season and come back fully fit. And that's that's kind of what we need with Joao. We need to let him get.
Well, that's what ended up happening with Moore as well, wasn't it? With his shoulder, he's just getting injections every week before games.
Yeah. So that's what we need. Someone Again, it's not through anyone's fault, really. If we could go and sign a very decent striker who's capable of scoring goals in January, even on loan, let's say, for example, someone like Eddie Nketiah from Arsenal.
Yeah, Eddie Nketiah.
If we could get him in and let Joao have that rest, I think let him come back at his best rather than.
But I think also if we sell him, we need to bring in someone with championship experience. There's no point us bringing in someone from Porto or Benfica or no. We need to bring in someone championship proven or English football proven at least.
Yeah, no. I personally, I think if we had the opportunity to sell him, I would. Just because of the injuries.
What's the price for him?
There's for me, if I was a manager or chairman, there is always a price for every player I would have on my team. It's just depending on whether we will be able to do that. So it could be interesting. Next one I want to go on to is non-Reading related, but could he go to us? Jack Wilshere. He's currently training with Bournemouth. Would you sign him for a 6-month deal?
I just added it in there. Obviously, you saw me type it, but I don't think that's a sign-in for us. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens because it's kind of going back to the Olise to AC Milan point because Wilshere actually said he wants to go and try it abroad.
Yeah, he did. And he's got previous ties with Bournemouth and especially Tyndall because he's been Eddie Howe's assistant. So, I mean, I think it makes sense for them to just have him train because what do they lose in it, really?
You're not gaining or losing anything, are they? They can't. I don't think you could pay a player unless he's getting the trial money you get. Sometimes
you don't pay the trials. I don't think. If he's only training with them, then he's just training because he can.
So Ryan's put in there Championship transfer rumor roundup. You got any more transfer rumors?
I've seen a few. Yeah.
Go on then. Say something. Say if we think it will.
Roundup. I've seen this morning that Preston are linked with Ched Evans.
Yeah, that could be a good signing for them.
I saw last night that Man United are interested in Max Aaron.
That to me, I think that's more of a possibility happening. Because if you think, and I saw some Man United fans talking about this when I was looking at it yesterday, and they said it would be excellent to bring him in because then they can rotate and change with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Because what they said is what they've done with Telles and Shaw was the rotation of the both of them has helped them for fitness. It's made Shaw up his game to get better at left back. Telles has come in and done very well. You've got Wan-Bissaka that has got no competition at the moment. And to be fair, he's a good player. But when you're playing every single time and there's no competition, you just automatically
autopilot.
Yeah, you just do the same thing. You don't learn. You don't do anything. Because I think if I remember correctly, Max Aarons was very close to signing for Barcelona.
But
in the summer.
They wanted to loan him with no option to buy. Or no obligation to buy. And Norwich said, no, you're loaning him if you will guarantee you will pay us this money.
But I think they then stopped that when they signed Dest from Ajax. Which, to be fair, I think Max Aarons is a very, 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 very good right back. I rate him very highly. Not the dive that he did at the Medeski, but I do rate him as one of the future. And England have the potential to have one of the best right backs in the world if you could just shove them all in.
We've got about 6 right backs already.
Yeah. Reece James, Wan-Bissaka, Trent.
Have you seen that thing about England starting line up for the Euros? It's just got like one player up there and then everybody in the bottom right. Right, a couple more ones that I just want to add in. So you've got, obviously, is it Etienne Capoue has just left Watford?
He's got
to Villarreal, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's rumours that Troy Parrott could be recalled back to Tottenham.
Has he been playing at Millwall?
I don't think he's played much at all, no. Another one, not transfer related, but what's going on at Sheffield Wednesday?
Oh yeah.
Who do we think could be their new manager?
Mark Bowen.
Maybe. Parrott's played 8 times quickly. He's played 8 times.
Right. Just talking about Sheffield Wednesday again. One of my mates spoke to me about it yesterday. It said an interesting name that I sort of thought about. I'm like, yeah, I could definitely see that. Paolo Di Canio.
Would never happen.
I think that would be interesting.
It would never.
Why wouldn't it happen?
Because I had a conversation with a Sheffield Wednesday fan last night, who does the NFL podcast, Rob, who's on there. And he's a Sheffield Wednesday fan. And what he said was, is the manager that will come in has to agree on everything that the chairman says. When Tony Pulis was brought in, the reason why Pulis took the job was because when he was having discussions in January, he was told that there would be funds available for the January transfer window that he can bring players in. It got closer to the time, and a week ago, Tony Pulis went into a room with the chairman and said, right, these are the players I want. These are the players we need for us to progress further and get out of the relegation zone and move forward. The chairman said, we don't have any funds. We've got nothing coming in. We've got no money. Pulis said, well, you've got one of two options. You either sell players that gets me money, that I can get these players in, or I go. You have no option whatsoever. He gave him the ultimatum. And that comes from Rob's sources, that someone he knows inside the club that told him. And basically, the owner said, well, you're gone then. I need someone that will come in and will do something with no budget, that will be a yes man and will do it. And the perfect candidate for that, for me, is Mark Bowen. Someone that will come in, does no budget, has no money to spend, that can be a very good yes man. We've seen that at Reading. He was very good yes man at the sporting director with Gomez, with the owners and everything like that. Not only that, he can get some best out of some young players. May piss some of the senior players off that he shouldn't piss off, but he will probably do well with that. I think the only candidate, and they're looking at the former Barnsley manager, the Jose Mourinho's assistant, that was at Barnsley, and it was manager for 16 games and got sacked because he did shit and got relegated.
Do you know who I'm going to put out there?
Go on.
Paul Clement.
No, because he's in Belgium. He's in Belgium at the moment. He's doing quite well, I think.
Yeah. No.
Gus Poyet is on favourite, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Gus Poyet is a bit of a weird one because he's good, but he's not. He has like spells where he's a very good manager, but then he turns out to shit.
He's like any manager when you get a bounce off a squad and then they kind of just go flat line.
The last one I'm going to say, it's not a rumour, but it will be. Bright Asay Samuel at QPR.
He's the winger, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a good young player. I can't see him sticking there for too long. I'm sure his contract is up.
We're talking about the Sheffield Wednesday job still then.
Oh, and
Bright Asay Samuel to take the Sheffield Wednesday job. That's what I thought you were on about then.
You know, I said that Paul Clement was doing well.
Oh, he's got them relegated or something.
No, can I take that back? He's currently the manager at Selsel Bulgar, wherever you say it. He was appointed the 3rd of July to present. In 18 games, he's won 6, drawn none, lost 12. He has a win percentage of 33.3%. His managerial career is he's played 122 games as manager, won 41, drawn 25, lost 56. He has a win percentage as a manager in a whole of 33.6. Whoa.
Right.
This manager that does the rounds, isn't it?
Oh, that is poor.
He's like Adkins, Clement, Pulis. He's joining that group.
But Pulis actually has a good win percentage because he keeps people up and gets them promoted.
I mean,
that's the big difference between him and Atkins. But,
yeah.
Well, Jesus, right.
Yeah, Atkins hasn't done anything for about a decade, really.
Oh, that's true.
The last one that I wanted to talk about was Bright Asay Samuel.
Oh, yeah.
So, he's actually, he's 23 years old today.
Yeah.
And his contract is up in the summer, so they're going to be facing a similar situation to what we are with Richards. However, I think it's a lot more of a big deal for them. They're not.
He could be worth more. He could be worth more than Richards, definitely.
Yeah. They'll be missing out on a lot more money than we would with Richards. He's also attracting a lot of interest already that I saw in the summer.
Well, he can sign if he goes abroad. He can sign a pre-contract in January, but it has to be somewhere abroad.
He can sign. He's free to talk to clubs from tomorrow. He can talk to anyone.
He can talk to clubs, but he can sign a contract with a foreign club in January to anywhere a foreign club, but you can't do it with British, like across British clubs. Which is why we can do it with Lauren, is because it's from a British club to a British club. Where you can do it from abroad. So
he can sign a pre-contract. Say we were to sign him. Yeah. He can sign a pre-contract deal with us from the 1st of February. Yeah. As soon as the window shuts, then he can sign.
Then he can sign. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he might go. He could go abroad possibly.
I think he could also attract a lot of interest from the Premier League. I know Palace were interested in him.
Palace seems to be interested in a lot of quality Championship players. Just think they brought in Eze in the summer.
I won't lie. I think Asai Samuel gets into every team in the Championship.
Yeah.
There's not a team that he doesn't get into. He, on his day, is one of the best players in the Championship.
Easily.
Yeah, I agree. I think it all depends on where his agent. It all comes down to agents now, and that's one of the things that is interesting. That it all comes down to the agents. Yeah, it all comes down to the agent, what they think and what they're doing. Right, let's move on to Swansea. Let's get into the game. We all knew that we hadn't beat Swansea, I think, in 7 before we went into them. Josh, I'm going to ask you to do a tactical overview of the game. So this is what I was going to say at the start of the podcast, but I fucking didn't come back to. I remember now. Right, so we've got different designated roles moving forward on this podcast. Ryan, where on my video, Ryan's there.
I'm there on mine. You're there.
Ryan's like, I've got.
I'm going like that. Yeah, so Ryan is now the tactical analyst on this podcast. Statistic. Fuck me, I'm going to get the words right soon. Statistic expert on the game, where he will come in with us with facts and figures about the game and what we see and go through that. Josh is now becoming the tactical pundit. I'm now going to call him, where he's going to do an overview of how the ability of what Reading set up. How did we play? What was the lineup? How did we process throughout the game? What did we change? And we're going to go more tactical depth into it. Josh wants to become a future coach and future manager. So this is a good start for him to get his head around and try and work how to do things. So that's why he's doing that. Ryan's just a lazy twat, so I've just got him to sit in front of his computer and before he has to type one out, just find some stats.
Do you know what's quite funny though? We're doing this now. I'm actually currently doing the one for the next game.
See, it gives you something to do. See, it's quite good. So we're going to go through that. So, Josh, before we get into Ryan talking all the statistics and talking the stats of the game and all of that, what I want you to do is sort of talk us through Reading's lineup and how did Reading set up against Swansea and what did Swansea do well? What did we do well? And how did the game play out tactically wise in your eyes?
So Reading, as always, we kind of set up in this 4-2-3 run with Olise off one wing, Joao off the other, and currently with Build Up and Semedo, with obviously Lauren and Renamotta sitting in front of the back four, which I see, well, 3 of the back four you call quite conservative, considering 3 of them are centre-halves. And you kind of got Estevez, who's doing what Renamotta normally does the bombing on and getting up the wing to try and get out. Well, they played wing back / defensive, like wide midfielders, because they played a 3-4-1-2 / a 5-2-1-2 when they're defending. There's a very fluid kind of Swansea system is very fluid. When you're going forward, you push forward, including I don't know how to pronounce the centre back. Way. He played behind Bidwell on the left, and they kind of said it in Sky commentary. He kind of plays this false number 5 role where he kind of pushes up behind the winger to offer that support. And always have that, at least that backwards pass, and you can use that to go inside or create more space for other players. So it kind of did them well because they were able to retain possession more and just hold the ball more than us across the game. Close to 60% possession and almost double our passes, I think. Or not, maybe like 160, 170 more passes than us across the game. Whereas we kind of just seem to knock it long to Bulldog quite often. And it only really worked once, which is the chance which he got it and he did the nice look. He did like a little Cruyff turn to Semedo, or like it was kind of like a turn but turned into a pass. And then Semedo kind of dilly-dallied on the ball and lost it. Because he overplayed the part, he then overplayed the pass and gave them a goal kick.
Mm-hmm.
But we seem to still, even without Richards, have that attacking down the left-hand side with the fullback, because McIntyre seemed to like to get forward. He had the shot from about 25, 30 yards at a weird angle, which he put just over. He had a header from a corner, and he had the big opportunity, really, our only big opportunity from the set piece where he got to the end of it. And there's a good save in the end from their keeper, Woodman, who's now kept 13 clean sheets this season. So a bit of a wall who's on loan from Newcastle, pretty good.
That's good. So, Ryan, go to you. Let's talk. So, I want you to go through some of the statistics that happened through that game, through the Reading v Swansea game. What did you make of the statistics as well?
Yeah. So obviously, Swansea had a lot of the ball. Forgot who you played then. We kind of always expected that. Swansea, before the game, and still have the best defence in the league. I think they've conceded 13 goals all season, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew it was going to be a tough game. And without your two top scorers, your highest scorer on the pitch being Olise with 4 goals, we always knew that chances were going to be kept to a minimal.
They've conceded 12 this season.
Yeah.
Fucking good record. Jesus.
So we set up to frustrate them. You kind of see. I thought we created a few good chances. As Josh just said, the one where if Semedo does literally anything else, we probably get a shot away. Bulldog right at the end of the first half with, let's be fair, very good free kick from 35 yards down. Obviously, McIntyre probably could have scored a brace. That volley from the cross from Olise in the first half, and then the header with our first corner of the match in like the 80th minute. Again, Swansea also did create quite a lot. Man of the match, Andre Ayew with the 4 shots on target. Let's be fair as well, 3 of them, if he heads it with a bit more power, they probably go in.
Or just in the corner.
Yeah. That first one with Raphael getting a save down to the right-hand side. Raphael getting a shot down to the right-hand side. People saying it's a fantastic save. Don't get me wrong, he's done well to get down there, but it was comfortable.
It could have been much more difficult.
Yeah. If Ayew heads it differently, we'd probably go 1-0 down. So in terms of stats, they dominated the game with 58% possession. Had 6 shots on target, 7 corners to our 2. We had 8 shots, 3 of them on target. They were the 2 McIntyre ones and the Bulldog free kick, I believe. Quite even on fouls.
Did McIntyre do on target?
Yeah, the header in the second half and the volley. Also, there was a stat today pointed out. McIntyre has won 87% of his aerial battles in the last 2 games. 100% against Swansea, where he won 10 out of 10. And I'm not sure what the percentage is from the Luton game, but he won 10 aerial battles in the Luton game as well.
Feeling got his goal as well, to be fair, so which I guess counts as an aerial battle.
Yeah.
So who was your man of the match? Because Andre Ayew got the man of the match for having 4 shots on target and apparently played quite a good game. But a lot of people were talking about Raphael. What did you guys make of Raphael's performance after? Let's say
A difficult.
people have criticised him the past few.
A difficult patch, yeah.
What did you make of his performance?
Back to where he shows he can be consistently if he just. I think he got a bit complacent and thinking that this is sort of my spot. It doesn't really matter how badly I play, I can start. And then Pounder coming out and saying, well, no, if he plays badly one or two more times, then South would start him. So I think that kind of kicked him into gear a bit, and he's gone, shit, I need to actually switch on now, because at the end of the day, if he comes to Reading, I mean, to be this like Europa League caliber goalkeeper, and then he's being dropped for Salford, who's played a season in Scotland, and that's about it professionally. Imagine how that looks for him.
Don't look great, does it?
Yeah.
So we've just seen on RFC latest again. So Raphael against Swansea had 46 touches. He made 6 saves. 5 of them were from inside the box. Punched it out once, claimed the ball high once, with 13 accurate passes. And it is safe to say he was back at his very best last night. There was a few in there. Kind of takes you back to earlier in the season, the Fulham game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. So I think we all would agree that the man of the match for that game was Raphael. Let's move on to the game.
I'm getting bored of saying it now, but you've got to give a special mention again to Josh Lauren.
Yeah, he was very much on the radar with a lot of people saying how great he's been this season. But he's definitely in the conversation at the moment for player of the season this year. Definitely in that conversation. Let's move on to Huddersfield away. I can see here we've got some beautiful stats and statistics coming up from the beautiful Ryan going into this game. So, right, read us off some stats. What you think is going to happen? All the stuff that you've researched.
I've gone very overboard with research for this. So, Huddersfield are currently 12th in the league. When I looked yesterday, they were 5 points behind us. So now they are 6 points behind us. They are 15 points clear of the relegation zone as it stands. But Rotherham have got 2 games in hand on the rest of the league. So their last 5 games, they have got 2 wins, 1 draw and 2 losses. The wins come in against Blackburn, who they beat 2-1, and Watford, who they beat 2-0 in Ivic's last game. The draw was a 0-0 against Coventry, and the 2 losses, they lost 2-1 to Barnsley and 5-0 to Bournemouth. So far this season, Huddersfield have won 9, drawn 4, lost 9, and so from after last night, we had won 11, drawn 4, and lost 7. On average, Huddersfield are scoring 1.2 goals a game, conceding 1.4. In comparison, we're scoring 1.5 a game and conceding 1.2. Huddersfield are 8th in the top scorers in the league, and we're 4th, with only Blackburn, Bournemouth, and Brentford scoring more. And in comparison, defensively, we have conceded 27 so far this season, and Huddersfield have conceded 30. And just obviously, Swansea game last night, that was the second clean sheet in the last 5 games, the other one being in the QPR game, beaten 1-0. Okay, so in the last six times that Reading have played against Huddersfield, we've won twice, drawn once, and lost 3. The first one of them going back to the 8th of March 2016. And in that time, Reading have scored 4 and conceded 4. And in all time, I know Mark likes to go back to as far as he can.
That's true.
We've beat them 25 times, drawn 12, and lost 16. for team news, so we're likely to be without Araruna, Puskas, Mate, Moore, Gibson, and Joao could be touch and go again. Swift will probably be on the bench again, as well as Richards, just coming back from injury. Huddersfield are going to be out. Are going to be missing Tommy Elphick, who done ACL damage. Josh Koroma, who is their top scorer. Richard Stickman, Christopher Schindler, who scored a winning penalty when we lost in the playoff final. And they're all going to be missing until February at least. Betting, bookies have Huddersfield as 8-5 favourites, Reading 19-10, and draw 23-10. So as I said before, Josh Koroma is their top scorer, scoring 6. In comparison, their next highest is Fraser Campbell, who has got 4 goals this season, and 2 of them have been in the last 9 games. And hopefully we will have Joao back, obviously 3rd top scorer in the league. And in comparison to the rest, we've said it before already, the next highest, bar Mate, who's obviously not going to be available for selection, is Olise, who has got 4 so far this season.
So a lot of scoring power in both teams coming up then. Jesus, that's pretty bad.
2 retards fighting.
Yeah, it's just who's got the biggest cock in it to try and work out who's got that. Going into this game, Josh, what are you thinking tactically wise? Do you think Reading are going to do the counter like they did last night? Or do you think they're going to be more on the front foot against Huddersfield?
I think it depends on how fit Joao is and how fit Richards is. I think, once again, it'll be a very Reading thing to all Joao's at 60-70% will throw him in the first team because otherwise you've got to play Bulldog. I think. But I think I think tactically, so Huddersfield have played 4-3-3 in most of their games this season, or recent games. However, when they played Blackburn, they changed to a 4-2-3-1, which they won 2-1 with Naby Sarr, the centre half, scoring both. To put them, what was it? So it was 2-1. It was 1-1 until the 90th minute where Naby scored. So I'm assuming both corners. I'm assuming for a centre half.
Unless he's just gone for an absolute rocket.
Yeah, maybe watch for set pieces. As Ryan said, Fraser Campbell's their 2nd top scorer, who's on 4 this season. Very experienced striker. Hasn't done much recently for Huddersfield and kind of played because Koroma's not been playing, and I think he played quite a bit last season after Colin Grant left, went to go to West Brom as well, didn't he? So
yeah. So perfect. So the predictions that we went. So this is the last in the predictions of the league before we have to get Adam summon him back to go through it. So the predictions we went through was I went for 2-0. Adam went for 1-0. What a surprise. He's went that low down knowing him. Orion went for 2-1. And Josh went for 3-1. Winning. We're all Reading wins, all going on there. And then we will go through all of the predictions moving forward, going on from there. But last topic of the day, before we finish and move on. Go on.
Adam did predict us to lose, right?
No, he predicted us to win. I know. I felt quite weird when he said we would win. So let's go on to as this is now 2021. We're going to do the prediction. Stop looking at it. We're now going to do the prediction of who we think has been the best player throughout 2020. I've got a list of players that have been named through the group chat that we're in, or on Twitter, or anywhere else that I've looked around and seen. And I'm going to go through them.
Let's do it differently. Get a pen and a piece of paper. I want you to write first, second, and third. And we're not telling each other until after we talk about it.
Do I have to get a pen? Can I just not do it? Just not do it in my brain? It's small. It's a very small brain.
Do
And
it
I'm
on
only
your
going to be able
phone.
to. All right, hold on. I'm going to pause the recording so we can go and get it. And we're back. So here we go. So let's go. So the players that we have seen and what I've seen around Twitter and everything is the best players of 2020. Here is the list of players who I've got. We've got Raphael. We've got Morrison. We've got Mate. We've got Reno. We've got Joao. We've got Richards, Ijaria, Swift, and I put this one in as a joke, but I found it quite funny. Aluko. I find myself hilarious, not going to lie. So what we're going to do, as Ryan said, is we all went and got a piece of paper, and the background or something might be different for everyone if you're watching. I don't know what's different. Oh.
Oh, I've got my...
dear. Ryan's tripping. Hello.
I'm not tripping. I'm moving stuff.
Oh, okay. So right, here we go. So we're doing third. We're going to go from third, second to first. For players who we think have been the best players in the whole of 2020. Not just this season, not just last season. We're doing the whole of 2020. Just want to make that abundantly clear before everyone goes, "Where's Lauren? Where's Josh Lauren?" Well, because he's only been here 6 fucking months.
Scary.
Yeah, I'm hard. We're not like that podcast and lick arses. We say what we want to say on here. No, we don't. I'm not going any further. I could get in trouble. So
Try not to speak. Get in big trouble.
I'm just not going to talk. So here we go. Right, Josh, go to you first. Who is your third place player in 2020?
Michael Morrison. I've got third.
Perfect. So Ryan, who have you got as third place?
My third place is Yaku Mate.
You're a dickhead.
Why?
Because I had him as well. I have
That's
him
a
as
good
third.
thing. That's a
I have
good thing.
Okay, so third place I have
It's just
also.
easier for us to overrule Josh because he's wrong.
Yeah, he is.
If we have the same second and first, his opinion doesn't matter.
I don't think you're going to agree with me on first, but we'll see.
Gareth McCleary, Chris Gunter, the ultimate switchback from Mark. He says Chris Gunter is the player of 2020. Yeah.
Can we do the worst player in 2020? Joint first, McCleary and Gunter. Waste of twats.
Right.
Second place.
I want to start with you, Mark. Who have you got in second?
No, actually, no. I'm going to change my third. I've just thought about it. I've just thought about the way I want to do this, and I'm going to change my third.
You're making it easier to overrule me, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to overrule everyone. So my third place is Raphael.
Ooh.
Okay.
So I've gone Raphael third.
I tell you now.
He was going to be top 2, but I've just been thinking the mistakes he's made in the past few games have dropped him down in my order, in my power ranking order. Not that fucking average.
I'm going to tell you now, Raphael's not in my top 3.
He's not in my top 3 either.
Is he not?
No.
All right.
He would have been had it not been for the end of November and December.
That's why he dropped down for me. He was going to be number 1 if he didn't make the mistakes he did in the past month, but he's in my top 3. Okay, so you want me to go second?
Yeah.
Okay, so the second place for me is Morrison.
Josh?
I've got Rinamotta.
I've also got Rinamotta.
Ooh. Okay. So Ryan, we haven't gone to you yet. So who is your opinion on the best player in 2020?
My fact is Michael Morrison.
He has to go with his fucking fact, doesn't he? So the fact. So he's gone for Michael Morrison. Josh?
I went for Mate.
Mark?
So I've gone for Rinamotta. I've gone for Rinamotta.
Have we all got the same players in different order other than he's got Raphael?
Yeah.
He's got Raphael instead of
Mate,
yeah.
Right, okay. So let's do this voting. So we've got, the other two doesn't matter. So now we need to work out who we all have to agree.
We've agreed that Rinamotta's second.
Right, okay. So we've agreed that, so Rinamotta is second. We all have to agree on third. So who is going to be third place? Because we've all gone for different. I've gone Raphael. Josh went for Morrison, if I'm right.
Yeah.
And Ryan went for
Mate.
So we've all gone three different. Okay, so I will happily drop out of third and say Raphael. I think you both are right with it going down, and I think Mate is going to come in for third. So third place we've got Mate. Second we've got Rinamotta. So now it's Morrison or it's Morrison.
It's Morrison, yeah.
So our vote now is third place is Mate, second is Rinamotta, and first place is Morrison. So the best player that Reading
have right, just the wrong way round.
There you go. Yeah. So the fun fact that I think was quite good that slid into this that I wanted to put was one of the statistics.
Just a second. Can we just rewind it to when I said it's a fact that Morrison was number one?
Shut the fuck up. So
I don't do if, buts, and maybes.
I do absolutes.
So since making his debut for Reading, Michael Morrison has missed just one out of the 63 league matches since he played for us, which is just absolutely incredible.
It's the first game of last season is the Sheffield Wednesday game.
Yeah. So it's absolutely incredible, the run, especially his age as well. But we want to hear you guys. Put down in the comments or tweet us, Instagram us, and tell us what you think the best player of 2020 is. You all are wrong if you don't say Morrison. That's just a fact. It's done. I don't care. You're wrong. You're wrong. Get over it.
Quickly, doesn't Michael Morrison's contract run out at the end of the summer?
Yep.
Is everyone agreeing we renew that, or are we saying?
I think we have to give him an extra year, just to keep the development.
I reckon we give him 3. I reckon we give him 3 years. No, give him 3 years and promise him a coaching role after.
So the contract,
like an O'Shea type deal.
Yeah. So then he can play for 1, maybe 2 of them, and then in his final year of his career, where if he wants it, give him that kind of John O'Shea farewell, and then he's in the dugout.
So the final years of the contracts are Omar Richards, Sam Walker, Luke Southwood, Michael Morrison, Tom McIntyre, Tene Watson, Ryan East, Sam Baldock, and Sonny Aluko are all in their last 6 months of their contract.
I replied to something saying, who would you extend? And I think I said Morrison, Richards, obviously, Southwood, Aluko if he takes a pay cut. I can't remember who the other one was.
Can you go through it again and a bit slower, and I'll just say yes or no if I would.
All right, let's do that. Hold on, I'm on the wrong page now. I've just come off it, so give me 2 seconds while I can go back on it. That's what she said. I was watching The Office US, and just epic. It's just so good. So here we go. So let's go through the list. The list of names of the players are when it's not loading. It's crashed on me. Here we go. No, definitely not the right one. Fucking dickhead. Right. Well, I'm just going to pause this while we have some technical issues.
Don't resume.
I have resumed. Don't say don't resume. I've resumed. Omar Richards.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Sam Walker.
You either extend his or Southwood's. He's one or the other.
All right. Southwood.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Morrison.
Yeah.
Tom McIntyre.
Yeah.
Tene Watson.
No.
Ryan East.
Yeah.
Sam Baldock.
Yeah. No.
No.
Definitely not. Sonny Aluko.
If he takes a pay cut.
Yeah. I agree on all of that. I agree, apart from the Baldock when Josh said yes. You're wrong. You're wrong on that one. But yeah, that's the end of another episode of the Robbos Gobcast. Welcome to 2021. We are now doing things differently. We're now going to be doing all things different compared to shut the fuck up. It's 2021. This video is all right. So the reason why Ryan keeps doing that, if you've watched to the end, is we're recording this on the 31st. So we're the day before New Year's Day, but you guys have enjoyed 2 videos today. Where you guys will be able to watch all things Reading, and we did a great pub quiz, which please go and check that out as well in the description. In the YouTube, it's only on YouTube, not on Soundcloud or anywhere else. You could just go and watch it. I didn't want to do audio because it just made no sense. It's quite fun to do in a YouTube format. So go and check that out. We will be back on Monday, hopefully with Courtney, maybe with Josh as well. Probably with Josh because schools don't go back to the 18th. So we've got him for another few more weeks on a Monday, and we'll go through all the tactical side of the game coming up against Huddersfield, and we will build up to the Luton game in the FA Cup, which could be quite. No, actually, no, we won't build up to that one because that's
everyone's favourite cup draw.
That was the worst draw we could have had.
Could have had Huddersfield away again.
Yeah, good point.
No, it's the fact we've already played Luton though in the cup.
They're our Cardiff this year.
Yeah.
They're our Cardiff.
Played 54 times in a season.
Exactly. Right, everyone. Peace, love, care. Everyone. Ryan looks like he's just about to do something. I don't want to know.
He turned it out.
Wrong point to turn your screen off there, my man.
As you said that, my iPad popped up saying battery.
Yeah, okay. Too much Pornhub. Everyone take care. Bye.